got me good in a hole that I just can't defuse. But I know, the tricks up your sleeve. 'Cause you and I used to sing just to pass by the time, and I can't let go without a partial thought to where our song may flow. Some ring away, but the echo of yours seemed to stay. And lately when I listen close, what I hear may be fake. See, you be real now, and I'll be honest, that what we've got here is truly harmonic. And I can search just to hear the same sound play. But why would I when you're standing here right in front of me? Truly harmonic. Oh, you've got me good. It's a concept I just can't refuse, but you had to see through what seemed without flaw. So you may say that the anthem of ours wrong away. Maybe it's true. So when this sound leaves my ear, I can't help but to sing it again. Hope that if I sing it out, maybe you'll comprehend. I've been around now, and all is silent. What we've got here is truly harmonic. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. So when you think of me and the lyrics that we used to sing, and take them for then what they appear. All along, I'll admit that it's all just a song, but maybe it's more than singing to me. Do we exist if the sound of our music stops playing? 'Cause maybe the next time around things won't be the same. Doubt exchange. See, you be real now, and I'll be honest, that what we've got here is truly harmonic. And I can search just to hear the same sound play. But why would I when you're standing here right in front of me? Truly harmonic.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour, another episode of the week.
Week what?
The week of Darren and Norman. What the heck did we do this week?
Wow, man.
Wow.
What, did you have a couple of drinks before the show?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did.
I'm
Medium
telling
rare.
you. Right, yeah. So welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man.
I'm the music man.
He's
That's
the music
Darren.
man. I'm Darren.
Are people still wishing you Happy New Year?
Yes, they are.
I mean,
well, it's only day 9 of the new year.
Yeah, but the new year is not a new year anymore.
No, it's not. It's
I
old.
just booked the show today in October. I mean, we're
I
talking
know
the end of the
We're
year.
talking the end of the year.
It's crazy.
You're way ahead of yourself with your bookings.
I'm
You're
way
going
ahead of
crazy.
myself anyway. Yeah.
So how you doing?
I'm good.
Did you have a good
I'm
week?
Yeah, everything was fine. Yourself?
All right. Good. Can't complain. You know,
everything's fine.
Things are moving. You know, the new
We're
year's
moving and
starting off
shaking.
fast.
You
fast
just
and
joined
furious.
a new group, right?
I just joined a new group. Now part of a Sunrise Latip
Yeah.
in Uniondale. So big group.
And
80,
they welcomed
80
you
plus.
with open arms. In
Open
business.
arms. Open arms
That's
in
good.
business. So
Me, I
you
get
know.
kicked out of groups.
I know. Well, that's there. You know what? I
because I'm
kept
me.
your name out of it. That's why I'm in.
It's a good reason. Good reason.
So
How's your house? You're looking maybe to buy a new house, aren't you?
yeah, someday. Someday.
Okay. I'm
Maybe
done with
soon,
homes.
maybe not.
I'm done with homes.
Yeah.
I'm finished.
Well, you know, we're going to get to that downsizing soon. You know, the kids, once we
and then
kick
who are
the
you going
kids
to
out.
call?
You know what? I got a couple of people in mind, but there's one gentleman.
Absolutely.
Absolutely one gentleman that I'm going to call. Especially
He's
after
sitting-
I know he's here.
He's here.
He's here.
Look at his smile and
But-
look at his
I know a
kid.
realtor for you guys if you need some help.
Well,
No, we want
that's
a
the
good
thing.
one.
We want
Do
to
you know a good
welcome
one?
Matt Sullivan from Realty Connect. Hey,
That's
Matt,
it. Welcome,
how
How are
you
you?
doing?
Thank you for
So
having
Matt,
me on.
the real reason we wanted you on the show, right, was not because of the real estate, right?
No, why?
He's a pilot.
Well, what do I give a
How
crap
do you know?
if he's a pilot?
Let me ask you a question. How do you know when there's a pilot in the room?
He's
They
flying.
tell you.
Very
That
true.
was good. I like
Sometimes
that.
we come in with the captain's hat.
That's
Or we'll have
exactly
the wings on.
As long as you don't have wings on your back.
No,
There
that
you
would
go.
be nice too.
So yeah, Matt's a pilot.
Oh, what does that have to? Oh, you're a pilot.
I'm a pilot.
All right,
yeah.
so I'll tell you
I
what,
know
you
we've
two
had that
guys talk
conversation
about
before.
aviation, and I'm going to just back
We're
up.
going to talk about all the
And
fun
I'll
stuff
just
with
snooze.
aviation. What's better, flying a six-pack or the G1000?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, I've only flown the G1000 once, and it's nice because it's almost like having an autopilot.
It is
It's like
autopilot,
flying a
it's always.
737
But,
compared to.
You know, it's funny. The older pilots I fly with don't like flying it because everything's automated.
It's true.
It's not flying anymore. That's what they say.
No,
It's
they're not flying it. You're just monitoring a big computer at
just
that
monitor.
point.
You put your flight plan in and just hit the button, and that's
You're
it.
good to
Why
go.
don't you two guys go out for a
So-
beer?
We may do that.
Hey, what do they say? 6 hours bottle to throttle?
No, it's 8 hours.
8 hours bottle to
Bottle
throttle.
throttle. That's
Okay,
it.
well,
That's the FAA
we
rule.
have
8
57
hours
minutes
bottle.
left of giving this guy some stuff for his money.
That's it.
See, I'm already
So what are
guilty.
you
I
trying to
don't know.
say? You know what the show's about?
So, Matt,
entertainment.
tell us what you are. Who do you work for?
Okay, so I work for Realty Connect out of Babylon is my main office, but I basically service Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. Residential
you just do
sales.
residential?
Just residential primarily. Our company offers commercial, and I can do commercial, but I do have a staff on board out of our Suffolk County HOPOG office that would guide us in the
Okay,
commercial
so
transactions.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I'm curious about this.
Sure.
Right? You studied aviation. You became a pilot.
Yep.
How did you get into real estate?
He
Now,
crashed.
Norm, ask him the question.
His plane crashed.
No,
crashed the
ask
plane.
him the question.
Okay, you're growing up and you're in your backyard.
Correct.
Do you live in a private home?
No, I live in an apartment now.
Okay, so
luxury
you went to the
apartment.
schoolyard and it was
Right.
summertime and you're playing ball, you're shooting some hoops or playing softball, whatever it is you're doing,
Right.
and you sat there and you said, hey, I want to sell houses. You're 10, 11 years old, you want to sell. I mean, I could understand being a pilot, and the plane goes over. Well, I wish I could do that. What the hell did you think about being a real estate agent for?
So what got me into real estate, let me backtrack. Before I got into real estate, I actually studied aviation for a long time. My mom used to make the software through Passor Aerospace for the air traffic controllers.
Oh,
So that helped, with the radar services, things like that. So that always sparked my interest in aviation. As I got older, I decided to go to BOCES in high school. They offered a private pilot program.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, heck, if my school can offer me for free to study aviation and get my pilot license, how many people can say that they have their pilot license before they can even drive?
Right.
So I went through school, 11th and 12th grade, studied aviation for my pilot license, graduated in 2011 with my pilot license. From then on, I went to Farmingdale State College to study aviation management. I figured that was my career, that was my go-to, that was everything. When I graduated, actually my senior year of college, I got a management.
Something's going to happen here.
Wait, the plane hasn't crashed yet.
Go
It's
ahead.
about to.
I got my management, my first management job out of Islip Airport for Allegiant Air Operations.
Okay,
I did
right.
that for 2 years.
All right.
When I lost my contract with them, I was unemployed for 9 months. Keeping in good contact with my colleagues, my former colleagues, I got a job at ARINC, which is a division of, it's almost like air traffic control, where we do the HF communications for the pilots.
Okay.
I did that for 2 years. On my downtime, I realized this is not my career. The more I got into aviation, the more I realized it was deterring me from wanting to make it a career. And I'd rather keep it a hobby because it's once you live aviation, you eat, breathe, you sleep aviation, everything's about it.
Yeah.
So I said, what can I do to be happy? So I started reading a lot of self-help books. The main message through a lot of these self-help books was real estate. Doing something on your own, being happy, doing something that you love.
Not every self-help book is real estate.
Not every self-help book.
I mean, what?
Correct.
I mean, who was there? Somebody specific?
So
Do you know how many real estate agents there are in Long Island?
there's about 20,000 that are
Exactly.
part of...
20,000 people.
Yep. And only a fraction of that actually become successful and maintain their license
Absolutely.
and practice it. So one of the self-help books that I read, which I'm sure a lot of people, especially my age group, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
I read his book, and then I continued to read a series of his other books, the Cash Flow Quadrant, there's another book, The Loopholes of the Tax System. So I started educating myself about real estate. And the more that I read about it, I became more interested because I always like numbers. Who doesn't like numbers?
But aren't most of those self-help books, especially the real estate ones, are about buying and selling your own homes?
It is.
And holding on to that property for rental properties and,
It is.
and things like that.
It's
Did
true.
you ever read the book Termite for Dummies?
No.
Termite for
Yeah, it's
dummies?
been a number.
Well, well, one of the other books that I read.
And you two are looking so seriously at me. Oh, you're easy.
You know what? This is the problem with this show.
You
is
never
that
know.
You
This is
never
me.
know what's going to happen with them. So you got all of these self-help books. It really
Correct.
showed you that there is opportunity to make a good living.
Correct.
All right. Now, by looking at this is this something that you like doing, or was this something that you said, hey, I have a better opportunity to be able to be successful monetarily
Right.
doing this than doing aviation?
Right. Well,
All right.
with
what was what was that? Was that it, or
Well, one
was
of the things I didn't like the lifestyle with aviation because you're basically going around the pilot schedules, the airline schedules, which
Right.
is a 24-hour operation.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a plane delayed, you're just as delayed of getting out and punching out at 5 o'clock
Right.
until the
Correct.
plane comes in or leaves the gate. So that's one thing I didn't like. The other thing is it takes a lot to really move up and be successful and really have a comfortable living in
Because
aviation.
there aren't that many jobs. People don't realize there
No.
are not a lot of jobs in aviation.
No.
You know what there also
You know?
isn't? Phone calls coming through, and you know why? Because we didn't give out the phone number. If you'd like to
You know,
call
you
in,
forgot to do that.
and speak to Matt,
Isn't that your job?
okay. So I pass it off on me.
You know what?
The number
I'm
is
busting a horse tonight.
631-415-1365. That's 631-415-1365. If you have any type of real estate questions at all, any type, all right, buying, selling, interest rates, mortgages, whatever, just give Matt a call. Give us a call here tonight, and Matt will answer them for you.
That was good.
Thanks.
That was good. It was better than the opening. But anyway, so let's get back to it,
Moving on.
Matt. Let's get back to it. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
So you saw there was better opportunity for it. There wasn't a lot of room for advancement in aviation. You said, okay, I want to get into real estate.
Correct.
How did you go about doing it?
So how did I go about doing real estate? On my
Bought a house.
downtime, I decided to work overnights at Arink
Right.
so it was more slow pace and I could start helping myself more than anything else. So I actually studied my license to get my real estate license online.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for 6 months. After the 6 months, I got my real estate license. I stayed another 6 months, which was my remainder of my second year at Arink,
Right.
and I practiced real estate. I got my first client within a month and a half of having my real estate license from door knocking.
Way to go.
And since then, I've been shooting to the moon. I've doubled my sales from year 1 to year
Right.
2. I've just been growing and growing,
Good
and
for
I have
you.
no regrets
Good
about
for
You
it.
you.
told me a nice story, something that happened this weekend.
Yes, so I actually door knocked this house. I picked up a listing in Hicksville. I door knocked about a year and a half ago on this elderly couple. Kept following up with them. A postcard, a text message, a phone call, wishing them happy holidays. I hope things are going well with their family, things like that. They finally give me a ring on December 30th and said, Matt, can you come to our house? We want to put the house on the market early in January. I said, sure, no problem. I signed the paperwork with them on Saturday, this recent Saturday. I reached out to a couple of my investors that were looking to purchase a home in that area. First investor took a look at it within the first 2 hours of the house being put on the market, had an offer and an accepted offer within the 2 hours.
Wow,
Great
that's
job.
fantastic.
Yep.
Great job.
But-
Wait, was there anything special about the house?
It was just the location was right for the investors, and one thing that I always do is I always follow up with the future clients, current clients, and past
Well,
clients.
that's a great point, right? And that's the great lesson that's here is that you're always in contact. You're always touching people. You're always letting them know. It's not a matter of, because you see it too many times. People
Right.
get into real estate years and years ago, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago, well before you probably were born, I had my real estate license for a short period. It was something that, hey, you can make extra money doing this type of thing.
Right.
And when I got into it, I realized the same thing. Like any job, if you're going to be successful at it, you really have to dedicate your time to do
Correct.
it. But one of the things, other things that because I didn't have the time to dedicate, I didn't have and a great way to explain it is you get ebbs and flows. You get buyers and sellers.
Right.
It's a buyer's market and it's seller's market.
Right.
You know, I was talking to a business broker not too long ago, and he said right now it's a seller's market. There are a ton of people that want to buy businesses right now, but nobody really wants to sell. So it's finding
It's finding
that
the
thing,
middle ground.
right?
Right.
But keeping touch on both sides is when that sale comes up, you immediately have those people to fill that gap.
Exactly.
So you don't have to go through the lengthy process of putting a house up for sale, doing the open houses.
Exactly.
You know, dragging all the other brokers in to say, "Hey, help me sell this thing." If you're constantly in touch and keep touching people, you said before, I sent them
postcards, text messages, phone calls,
cards,
everything.
just to say hi.
Exactly.
And not pressure them.
Exactly.
Then boom, when the time came, you were there. You became part of. Immediately, they went realty. I think of Matt. That's who I want to deal
Exactly.
with. Right.
Exactly.
Were you able to resituate this older couple? Did they buy something new? Or?
So I was actually able. It's a
Because that's the win-win in real estate.
how do I put it? It's a special scenario where they actually need to relocate for rental until they know exactly where they want to go. So this particular investor was open to renting the home to them for a couple of months after closing.
Perfect.
So they don't have to
That's-
pick
that's
up, pack,
sweet.
and go in 3 months. Now they
That's
can
sweet.
stay for about 6 months. So they're happy with that.
So he's going to redo the house?
I don't know. I don't know what the
imagine he's gonna do
investor's protocol is when he purchases. He might be renting it. He might be flipping it. It might just be for a family member as a gift.
Right.
You know, what their end game is,
That's
it
some
changes.
I got to get relatives like that.
Hey,
You know.
hey,
Wow.
I would be happy if I had a relative like that too. Buy me 2 homes.
By the way, I have a house for you. You know, and we can go from there.
What else did you do? Didn't you have... You had another occupation in between, right?
So in between, when I was unemployed, this is one thing that a lot of people don't really know about me is I'm very humble from where I came from. I'm a huge hustler. Since I was 15, I'd owned my own landscaping business. I ended that at 21
When you
years
said
old.
hustler, immediately I was thinking this guy's got card games going on, poker games, things like
Why
that.
would you think that? He's a nice
He was a
young
hustler.
man. Look how nice
The hustler,
he is.
hustler's
He's well-dressed.
he is a
He's-
very well dressed, nice
professional.
looking man. So,
He's a-
but I hear hustler, and what do you think? You hear hustler,
It's
what do
because
you
you're
think?
an animal. he's a
See,
nice young man.
I'm an
He doesn't
animal,
know
but
from
I'm a
that
beast
stuff.
in real estate.
You don't know where any hot poker games are, right?
No,
Where there's a buy-in of $5,000-$6,000,
no.
and you got to say, Joe sent me.
You got to go to
In
his
order
house.
to get in,
You got to go to his
Call
house.
me.
to run.
Then we'll call Norm.
send you to
Exactly.
Darren. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock.
Duly noted.
He's got a special location.
So how did you? Okay, so now you got your real estate license. You started knocking on doors.
Correct.
Now we all know you get your real estate license. You can't do it on your own. You got to go through a broker.
Correct.
Right. So who did you hook up with first?
So originally, I was with Douglas Elliman for my first 6 months.
Okay.
That's a snooty company. Good company. but
Good
kinda-
company.
kinda
They have a
like
big
snooty.
name, big reputation for wherever, where it
Oh,
may
they're
be
very
given.
classy.
Exactly. So the reason why I ended up going from Douglas Elliman to Realty Connect is what I like about Realty Connect is they don't have that corporate mentality. The reason why I quit my 9-to-5 job is to get out of corporate America.
Okay, so Douglas Elliman was more. You got to be here at 9. You can't leave till 5.
You have to be in the office 3 times a week. You have to let me know what's going on. And my mentality is, if I'm in the office, then I'm not out on the field, meaning the
Okay.
towns and the homes, I'm not making sales.
Right.
So that was one thing that deterred me. The other part is the office,
Environment.
the environment, correct. So I heard about Realty Connect, a neighbor of mine. Their house was sold through Realty Connect, so I started inquiring with that agent. Took me over to the office, introduced me to the brokers, and from right then, I fell in love with the brokers. I fell in love with the office
Any one
environment.
particular broker you fell in love?
I would say Georgia Westcott and John Fitzgerald.
So we hearing wedding bells? Is that what we're saying?
I was leading
that
that.
your
You might see a wedding
Put
ring
in a
too.
couple, so I
Put in a
would've-
couple. So
maybe he's not so nice and holy.
well, he says he's a
What
beast.
kind of crap you got going on?
Hey, I only keep it real estate related.
There you go, Matt. There you go. So, you said corporate mentality, right?
Yes.
And you don't have that so much at Realty Connect. The other thing is you can be out more,
Correct.
right? And we all know a big part of selling,
Is you have to be out there.
you have to be out there. Not only you have to be out there, because I meet salespeople every day,
Right.
and immediately I know if I'm going to do business with them on how they approach me.
Right.
If they approach me with, "Hey, how you doing today? What can I do to help you?" That's a different approach than, "Hey, what are you doing today? I do real estate, and this is what I want to do for
Exactly.
you." Right?
Exactly.
So it allows you to connect by not being in the office with,
Right.
"I got to talk to you via phone," and now you can be out there. You can be touching people. You can really connect.
And that's
with them
how you
and
got
show
here,
them.
Exactly.
by meeting Darren and I
Correct.
at a network
At a
meeting
networking
where
group.
you
Yeah.
presented, what it is that you do, and I said I got to talk to him
Right.
because I knew you would do very well getting the word out about you and your company and what it is that you do. What makes
appreciate
you different? What makes you
What's
a
your
special
unique
real
selling
estate agent?
proposition?
So I think it's not one thing that I don't like people calling us as salespeople. I don't really think we're salespeople, as we are.
Why aren't you a salesperson?
So homes sell themselves. It's all we are basically guidance counselors for the homeowners and for the buyers. We hold their hand each step of the way. The house will present itself. If the window is broken, I can't control that. They have to fix it. We guide them on how to present itself. So when somebody comes in, a lot of the buyers that come in know what areas they want: school district, towns, counties.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of finding a house that will suit their living needs.
If the window is broken, do you tell them that the window? Seriously, do
Absolutely.
you tell them that the window is broken before?
One thing that I do is I'm open and honest with all my clients.
I want to show you this house. It needs some work.
Exactly.
All right, but you're going to get it at a good price, and maybe
Well,
we can negotiate it a little bit.
We watch all these shows on TV, these home improvement shows, and
Oh,
these real
yes.
estate shows, and all the,
Oh,
these
yes.
people looking for their homes. And what makes me nuts,
They make it seem so easy and flawless.
no, is when they walk into a house and the first thing they do is look at the color on these walls. You know how easy it is to change the color in a wall?
Nobody knows how to paint.
I don't like this house because the wall's yellow.
And it
you
has
know?
carpet.
It's true.
I didn't want carpet. I wanted hardwood.
Well, that's
Right,
one
so
thing.
pick up
Is,
the damn carpet and put your hardwood in.
so what I like to do with everybody that I meet is I tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent.
Right.
And it's a matter of them either taking what I present to them and making it work, because at the end of the day, their goal is to sell their home and to either move down to Florida, relocate, or whatever their goal
Downsize.
is.
Like, in a couple of years, I'll be downsizing. Right?
Okay.
So when you sell to a buyer, in
Right.
other words, when you have a buyer, not a seller,
Right.
you have a buyer. Do you do this shtick where I'm going to show you a
Shtick.
house that's $20,000 more or
Never.
$100,000 more than you want to pay?
Never.
But that's that's TV.
That's TV.
That's
So there you go.
TV,
Yeah.
right.
I'm going to bring you to this perfect house that everything hits
Everything
everything
you
on
want's
your
there, but
punch
it's a
list.
But it's
$1 million,
also
not 200.
30,000 above your budget, and we
Right.
know you can't get it.
But I can give it to you.
Exactly.
I can make a new house for you.
Exactly.
That really will cost $150,000, but it'll look like it's $1.5 million.
It's so true.
Right.
One thing that I don't like about these shows is they kind of take, our, with technology so accessible to us, Zillow, Trulia, and all these shows, they kind of, I want to say they exaggerate some things. So one of my challenges is now to really reel back in the
Well,
reality.
That was one of the things I was
housing.
going to ask you is, how do you compete, right, with a Zillow, or was that the Purple Brick thing?
Oh,
Whatever-
yes,
whatever
Purple
it is?
Brick, and there's
Yeah,
always these
something
new
new,
brokers
Purple
that are
Brick.
coming out.
Right, where they say, okay, yeah, we're going to charge you next to nothing to sell
Right.
your house. How do you compete with that?
So one of the things is a lot of people don't really hear of they may hear of these big names, but how often, let me put it this way, are you going to go to the mechanic that you've heard of for the last 20 years and you pass by for the last 20 years, or are you going to go to the new guy that you never heard of the name? Same thing. You're not going to go to somebody that you really don't know much about, haven't really seen or heard about, whereas the bigger companies, Douglas Elliman, Century 21, Realty Connect, people can correlate that and say, oh yeah, I know somebody that used Realty Connect. I know somebody that sold a house from there. So it's easier for me to get my name out there. Mm-hmm. The other thing is you kind of get what you pay for. If the mechanic tells you, hey, if you try to negotiate with a mechanic, hey, I'll give you $100 and I want you to realign my wheels and fix this, that, and the other thing, they're only going to give you $100 worth of work.
Right.
So we earn every single penny that we make.
So what you're saying is the level of service that people are going to get from you
is more personal.
Right? As well as just you're going to get a better quality of service.
Absolutely.
Zillow is, you see Zillow and all these other things.
Zillow, Redfin, Purple Bricks, they're all online based.
Right.
One of the frustrations that we have, even in my generation, is we want that human interaction. Technology has made us lose that human interaction. Now we're fighting back to get it again. So one thing that we will always need in real estate and sales in general and any kind of business is that constant contact with a human. No computer can answer certain questions.
Awesome.
Do you take pictures of all your homes?
I do. I have a professional photographer takes all the pictures, and depending on the type of home and where it is and the type of market that we're in, I'll even have a professional videographer come in and I'll do a personal
Do
tour
you
of the home.
stage the home sometimes?
I usually recommend to make it look lived in, but I also have certain. It depends.
Depends
clean
on
it
the
up.
property.
Clean it up. Depends on the property, the home,
The area, right.
the area, and what the end goal is for the market in that area.
You use drones for aerial shots?
I haven't had to use a drone. My houses will sell quicker before I can even get the professional photographer. Believe it or not. Yeah.
He's like, it's like
no anguish.
no anguish, nothing.
You're the seller.
I'm looking for something here. I'm looking for
All
something.
right, I'll have it for you in an hour and 40 minutes.
Let me ask
Give
you
me
this.
2 hours.
What was your most challenging home to sell?
I wouldn't say the homes are challenging as it would be the client.
Well, yeah, it all
We
ties
have-
together, right? 'Cause
we have
one is
clients-
the same as the other.
It's true. Well, I would say, it's easy to tell a client, hey, look, you have to do this to the home. Or on the buying side, hey, look, you know what, this is what the reality is. We looked at so many homes. I've had clients that will text me 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Give me a call 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just because they're so nervous, not understanding the whole transaction. One thing I'll do, if you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I happen to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I answer your phone call, I answer your text. If I have the answers, I will give it to you. The clients can be very challenging when you've told them 5, 6 times in 5, 6 different ways how something's going to work, and they still just don't want to work with it.
Or when they tell you.
Well, what do you do in that case when you got a client that you say, hey, look, here's how it's going to go.
Right.
There's no way around this. This is exactly how it's going to go. And they fight you tooth and nail. How do you deal with that?
If they fight me tooth and nail, then I've tried all avenues to try and let them follow my guidelines and what my recommendations are, and they still refuse to, let them trip and fall and see if I don't think they'll make the mistake again.
You get these clients too that think the house is worth $200,000 more than what it
Correct.
really is.
Yeah, you get
And they
that
don't
all
want
the
to
time.
hear.
Well, when it
anything
comes
else.
to clients like those, I honestly don't, because my job is to make money and sell the home. Your job is to make money and sell your home. So why am I going to waste my time, and why would you want to waste your time selling home if you know it'll never sell? If I've proven to you the statistics of the market in that area, if I've shown you what the market trends are, and you still don't want to go with what we both recommend, then it's not going to work. And quite honestly, I've had turned down sellers before because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste their time.
Have you ever turned down a buyer?
I have.
Okay. So
I
let
have.
me ask
Well,
you.
how do they reach you?
So a lot of the buyers are either
What's
through
your phone number?
631. Oh,
Yeah.
so my phone number is 631-671-0509. You could call or text me
Again?
anytime
What's that
at
number?
631-671-0509.
Is there an email they can get in touch with you?
Sure, it's M as in Matthew, and my last name, Sullivan,
nice Jewish boy.
SULLIVAN, at realtyconnectusa.com.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, I thought it was your turn to ask a question.
No, I just did. I said, "What's your phone number?"
You interrupted his flow. His flow was going so
It's
well.
flowing nowhere. It's going down the river. I help him out.
The plane was crashing out.
Right. We were talking about. Let me rephrase that. Client, give me the most difficult buyers that you ever brought into a deal that the deal completed, and then give me the most difficult buyer that you eventually said, I just can't work with you.
Okay, so most difficult client buyer that I bought into and closed. Again, I can't say I have one most difficult, but I could say some of the challenges that I come across with the buyers.
What's the challenge?
Is that they can't, there's either the husband that doesn't mind if the house is halfway, falling apart, and then the wife wants everything brand new, or vice versa. So one thing that I always try and work with the buying side is keep an open mind. Look at the full potential. Things that can be changed: flooring, roofing, siding, paint is the big thing. Like you guys mentioned before, a lot of first-time home buyers, it's very challenging for them to see beyond the surface. So sometimes what I'll have to do is, it's almost like a mock of what these shows do. I'm going to show you a bad home, I'm going to show you a good home, and I'll show you a home in between. Then you could kind of see and get ideas from it. One thing that I like to do with buyers is I like to study them as a person, because we all have certain traits, and the traits become predictable over time. So then
you make a great point, right? So what you're saying is you really need to get to know
the person,
your buyers,
right?
So you know what their wants are and what their needs are and what their likes and dislikes
exactly.
are. So you know what to present them. You're not going to bring somebody who doesn't like modern to a modern home.
Right.
They want colonial, so you're going to bring them to a colonial.
Okay, that's the shell of the home, but the interior of the home, and you see this a lot on the shows. I want a Victorian.
Right.
Okay, or I want a big porch. I want an enclosed whatever.
Right.
And the husband or the wife wants just the opposite. I want it to be modern. I want it but you compromise, it's where it's got to go.
Exactly.
So do you know a good marriage counselor that you can people to? So
I know a few good attorneys that could recommend them in that direction.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's always, it's my partner always says to me all the time, you should have a therapist sign up, because even what I do.
He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about his partner.
It's I spend more time talking them off the cliff,
right,
with certain things,
right,
than I do actually doing the work I do for them.
It's true.
And I'm sure, especially in real estate, because it becomes a very personal thing.
Absolutely.
So you think about it, somebody's living, they're selling a home that they've lived in for
20 plus years.
20 plus years.
Right.
Their whole life is there, all their memories.
Kids grew up.
Things like that. I could remember my parents sold their house, right? And they downsized. My dad used to go back and visit the people,
really,
just so he can see what they did inside the house and all these
wow.
things. Yeah, it was. I'm like, Dad, you just wait till it's attached to this house. It's the house we grew up in. We were there for a long time. My parents and
it's a lot of sentiment attached.
A lot of sentiment. My father used to get it very attached to everything, so it was crazy. But I was like, he was like, yeah, you know what they did in the house? I'm like, you went back there?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't lived there for 5 years.
Right.
He goes, well, I was driving by and the guy was outside, so I stopped to say hi.
Right.
People get very attached. It becomes a very emotional thing for them.
It's true. So one thing that I try and do is I like to work on a personal connection level. Mm-hmm. I don't look at a sale as just, you know what? I sold the house for $500,000. I get a 2 or 3% commission. I'm good to go. I don't look at it that way. I believe in business will grow itself by helping the people, because my business comes from referral. Mm-hmm. So if I give you a bad experience, the last thing that will be on your mind is referring me to your friends, your family, your colleagues. So I want to create the experience that is going to make you happy and say, you know what, unfortunately I had to move, we had to downsize or upsize, I had a lot of sentiments, but thanks to Matthew Sullivan of Realty Connect, he was able to create my journey to move on and start a new leaf.
He slid in Realty Connect.
Did that? Your heart melted a little bit.
It's heart melted a little bit.
got
But
it.
he's got it. He understands. It's all about the connection. And it's
Right.
about really getting there with people. Not only that, I'm sure you hear from these people from time to time to say, hey, you know what, I'm doing great in my new home, or
Right.
thank you again. You said before that you send out, you know,
Oh, I
Christmas
always send out cards. I follow up. So my
I'm sure
first.
you call more than they get in touch with you.
Oh, it's true.
That's what you
Afterwards,
should do.
usually afterwards of a sale, it's like adios amigos. But I always like to stay in contact because down the road they may have a son, a daughter, a former neighbor,
A
family,
relative,
friend
anything.
that could. That
Do you bring a basket to the closing or a bottle of
I actually
champagne?
bring gifts personalized to them. So depending, I always like to hear their personal story. One time I had a client. She loved chocolate and bacon. He loved wine. And her disabled sister loved drawing. So I actually, at the closing, I bought an art coloring book for the disabled sister. I bought some wine and chocolate for them. And I just gave them, I like to
What happened to the
personalize my
bacon?
gifts. And the bacon, well, you know what? She said she's going to start her own bacon business down
was gonna
south.
say,
So I said, I want to be your first client.
Everybody loves bacon.
Bacon is the bomb.
That's it. Bacon is
Jimmy, you like bacon?
I love bacon. I got bacon under my desk right here.
Could you throw a piece over? Again, the phone number to if anybody has any phone calls or questions is 631-415-1365.
Yeah, come on, call in tonight. Let's get. We don't need your granddaughter called in last week. How did that go, by the way?
Oh, she was cool. She
was
enjoyed
cool.
it.
You were being a little inappropriate right before she called, and
Well, she didn't hear
so
any of that.
she didn't hear any of that.
I hope the mic was shut off. For that, right?
It was right
I was
after
just being me.
you being you. I wouldn't say it was
I'm
inappropriate.
appropriate.
Well, for I mean, your granddaughter she's 11, right?
12.
12. Okay.
She's older.
She's 12. 12-year-olds are like 20-year-olds now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well,
when
she is.
we were doing that.
Big time dancer.
So we know you like aviation, right?
Yep.
We know you like working with people and
Yes.
helping people, because it's obvious just in the way that you're presenting yourself that's a big thing in your
I like
life.
working with people a lot. One thing, I always wanted to create a good experience because one thing you hear all the time is people have bad personal experience. And I like to treat people the way that how I want to be treated, which is with honesty, fairness, and respect. And if you can't give me that, then on to the next person.
Too soon for you yet, but do you have plans of one day being a broker?
I do. I'm actually currently studying for my broker's license. I'm
Good,
halfway
good for
through, and by the springtime, I should be an associate broker under Realty Connect.
Nice. So
I used to work for Remax.
Really?
You work.
And now what?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're here.
Now I'm here.
Now he does concerts.
Now he does
I did
concerts. There
I
you
did
go.
concerts then too, but whatever. I stopped doing real estate when we had the slowdown with
Okay.
interest rates and houses, and everybody was cheating and lying and whatever.
So let me
and I
ask
don't
you
have
this.
the patience for it. 'Cause
See,
you gotta wait.
I think it takes a certain type of person to be in real estate and to be in sales in general. You have to be a people's person. It takes a lot of patience because I won't lie. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. Sometimes the clients can get frustrated, but we have to take the emotions out because they have more emotions involved than I do.
It's a very personal purchase or sale.
Exactly.
Like
And
you
it's
just-
usually their biggest investment
Yeah.
of their life. On the selling side, kids grew up, mom and dad grew them up in that
Right.
house, and now they have their second and third generation in the home. So it's a hard transition. Versus on the buying side, they want to make it their own and start their own family. So you have to really cater and really mold to everybody's experience and just sympathize and empathize. And, if you don't understand it, try and understand it.
Right, and that's a big thing. And you see, salespeople get a bad rap,
Stigma.
and there's a
Right.
bad stigma in all industries.
Right,
If they're just salespeople,
right.
right? A great salesperson is a listener, not a talker.
It's true.
So, bad salespeople are the ones that come up and all they want to do is talk.
Right.
They never shut up.
Never listen.
Never
True.
listen.
Well, what do they say? You don't want to be the talker in the room. You want to be the listener. Something to that effect.
Well, and God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Exactly.
You
It's
should
true.
talk. You should talk. You should listen twice as much as you talk,
It's true. It's very true.
because you can hear a lot of things. And I'm sure when people are telling their stories to you,
Right.
you're picking up on things like, I like wine. I like
Right.
bacon. I like, drawing.
Exactly.
All of these things you're picking up and you're putting that in your Rolodex and saying, So when I'm working with clients, and as you know, I do, executive and business coaching,
Right.
I'm listening for not what they're saying, but how they're saying it.
Exactly.
Because that tells a lot about what's going on, what's really going on.
It's true.
I was explaining this I was talking to a business broker yesterday, and when we were talking, I said to him, I'm different from different business coaches in the sense that I'm boots on the ground. He
Right.
goes, what do you mean by boots on the ground? I said, I get in there into the companies. I just don't do it by phone or do it,
Right. You understand it. You learn it from the
and I
inside
figure
out.
out what's going on. I watch what's going on. I talk to their employees. You talk to people. You connect with people. That's how you find out what they're all about.
It's true.
And that's how you can, like you said, you make those relationships. And it's, now it's like, hey, you know what? Matt did a great job for me when I sold my house. Oh, you're selling your house? Even if they don't really know somebody, they'll meet somebody at a party.
Right.
I got a real estate agent for you.
It's true.
I got a guy. It's those people.
It's
I got a
very
guy. I got a guy.
It's always about
It's always I got a
Or I
guy.
got a woman. Or I
People
got a
do
person.
business
I
with
got
people
whatever.
they like.
I know a
People
back
do.
doctor.
You know
That's
about
what
this. Yeah, I know. You got your back issues, Jim. So everybody is. Hey, I met a chiropractor today. I can turn you on to.
What do you do to
Yeah.
promote yourself?
So I use social media, and I have to say, a lot of my business and promotion has been through word of mouth, and I'm very fortunate for that.
Well, how do
I've
you
created.
besides selling a home,
Correct.
which is referral based?
Right.
Okay, you met us at a networking group.
Right.
Do you belong to other networking groups too? I certainly hope so.
I have Boom, and then there's some local, smaller local networking groups that I do belong to that I actually met prior to getting into real estate, just so I could pick people's brains about real estate. I actually met an investor who's a contractor. He started his own networking group, and it's amazing to see. It was me, him, and 4 other people that were in the beginning of the group, and now it's grown to 40, 50
Wow.
members a month come every Wednesday.
What
so
group is that?
it's,
Let's give a shout out to that group.
So it's through Bigger Pockets. It's the Suffolk County Bigger Pockets meeting in Bayshore. It's the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. at the Bayshore Brew House. I believe
Do
it's
they have a
brewery.
specialty?
We can do a remote from there, right, Jim?
Yeah. I mean,
Eventually.
do they have a specialty in
In
terms
other
of?
words, they're a networking group. Is it just for real estate people and real
It's all
industries?
no. It's all like-minded folks. So people that want to help each other grow. So it could be investors. I've seen mortgage brokers. I've seen.
But it's real estate related.
It is real estate related, but
Okay.
it's not always geared towards real estate. We actually have nurses and doctors that come and say, hey, look, I want to get into real estate. What do I do? Or, you know what, my dad's a contractor. Can you help me for my own contracting business? It's amazing the opportunities that come about in these networking groups.
Now, do you find working with other brokers is an easy thing or more difficult?
It's challenging.
It's challenging.
It's very challenging because how I practice is different how other people practice.
Right.
We all look at it this way. When we go to work and we work with other people, some people take 2 steps to get to the finish line and other people take 10 steps to get to the finish line. So it's a matter of trying to work together to get to the same result.
So do you have, and this is one, I asked this question for a reason. Do you have specific brokers that, hey, you know what, I want to co-broker this deal or something like that. I'm having problems selling this house. I need to reach out to other brokers.
There are
there specific brokers that you say, he's the guy I want to call because
So
I know
there
him.
are a handful of real estate agents that I've had an amazing experience with, and they felt the same. And I will call them up first and say, hey, look, I want to give you exclusivity on knowing I have this house. If you know anybody, just let me know.
Right.
And I'll give you the first rights to take a look before putting it out there on the market and just letting any broker or agent take a look that I may not have a good rapport with as of yet.
When you sign a contract, you're asking percentages are normally 4%?
Normally 4%, but I actually have been getting a lot of my listings at 5%.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason...
Now, of course, the average person doesn't know this or understand it. By you getting 5%, you have more of a chance to sell that home
Correct.
than the person that's looking at 4%.
Correct, because now we're sticking out like a sore thumb in a good way.
That's because the other agents want to make more money.
They want to make more money,
And
so they have more
That's what
incentive.
it's all about.
It creates more
It's the back
incentive.
end.
Exactly. It's true, but also, I also show that I'm worth the 5%. and nobody has ever turned me down on a 5% commission thus far.
If 1% is going to change things, you can always, you get the house for 3 months or 6 months,
Right.
or whatever, and you want to renew it. That's great.
Right.
You're going to perform.
Exactly. I perform either way.
Well, let me ask you, because sometimes you get a hold of a house and it just won't sell, right?
Right.
A lot of times, the majority of the reason why a house won't sell is price.
Correct.
It's way too high.
Correct.
So when you come in and you have a client that is insistent, they think their house is worth $800,000 when it's really worth $5.
Right.
How do you explain to them why they should price it at the real selling
I'd give
price?
them a match
So I usually
and then rebuild it, and then you can get your
I'm all about numbers. Numbers don't lie, statistics don't lie. History repeats itself. So when I speak to clients that have their level of expectation here and I have to bring them down here, if they're insistent on overpricing their home, I tell them time is money. It's your money and it's my money also. I don't want to waste too much time on having a house too high in the market. So I will say, hey, look, I'll give you a fair chance. Let's play by your rules. But give me 3 weeks. If your rules don't work, then we play by my rules. And typically when they play by my rules, that's when I can sell the home in 6 hours, 2 hours, 9 days, 12 days, 29 days. I've never had a house on the market more than 3 months.
Really?
And that was only one house I had for 3 months. And that was only due to the financing being denied from the people that were looking to purchase the home.
So, okay, but you had the house on, it took 3 months to close the deal.
Weren't they pre-approved?
How long did it take for you to, what's the quickest that you've sold a house? 2 hours? That house?
2 hours, and after that was 6 hours.
Right.
And then I've had 2 homes I've sold in a day.
Really?
In one
okay,
day.
so what's the longest time that you actually got the listing before you got an offer?
3 months.
3 months.
It was that 3 months that I was
Okay.
mentioning before. And no, in terms of getting an offer,
Yeah, that's different than closing.
Then closing, right?
Right. 3
In
months
terms
to
of
closing
getting
is
an offer,
fantastic. I don't know how you're doing.
I would say 3 weeks.
Wow.
It was just a matter of the time, and sometimes
so
the holiday weekends.
You're really pricing these houses the right way.
When I price conservative.
Or you do
Conservatively.
comparisons.
I always show the numbers. I show the facts.
Yeah.
And if there's a homeowner that doesn't want to go by the facts, typically I say, unfortunately, it's not going to work for me because I could be spending the same amount of time and effort on somebody that's realistic to sell their home in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
Well, it's all about commissions for you. So the faster you turn around your money, the more money you make.
Exactly.
Right.
And the more people I can move on to.
Right.
You know what?
You can service more, and you can make more money, and then you
Exactly.
can buy a plane.
It's all about volume.
How are interest rates now?
So the interest rates are starting to level off a little bit. They do plan on increasing the interest rates, I believe, 2 or 3 more times throughout 2019.
And I thought they just said that they weren't going to do any
They just did
interest
one.
increases. Yeah.
They did a recent one, I believe, in November or December,
December,
if I'm not mistaken. But we did see a slight decrease in interest rates over the last 2 weeks, which created a lot of people starting to jump on the bandwagon to apply for mortgages and lock in their rates. Over the long term, we are still at one of the lowest decades of interest rates.
What is the rate now?
The interest rates hovers around 4.5% on average. It could vary depending on the bank that you use, but on average it's about 4.5%.
What's with this Rocket company?
Rocket
The
Mortgage?
Rocket Mortgage. Are they really as good as they claim to be?
You know, I can't vouch for mortgage companies. All I could say is just do your homework. When it comes to real estate agents, do your homework. When it comes to shopping for a loan, do your homework. Make sure that you have to do what's best for you and your interest.
Okay, so do you have a network of mortgage brokers and banks that you deal with? Because look, I want to sell my house. I don't want to have to find 60,000 people
No,
to
Gotta
do
use a
everything.
broker.
no.
So if I go to you, Matt, and I say, hey, look, I need to do this, 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 and this, do you have somebody?
I always do.
Okay.
And if I don't, I find somebody that can. And I only find people that hold up to the same standards that I do, which is nothing but high integrity and high standards.
And why do you do that?
Why do I do that?
Yeah, why
because
do you do that?
because
you
I
know what?
want
A
to
lot of
hold.
salespeople say that.
It's about reputation.
Right.
And if I have a bad reputation, then that means my name's not getting out there. That means I can't make a living out here, and I have to go back to a 9-to-5 job. So to keep myself out of the 9-to-5 grind, I
So
keep
you have
pushing
that
forward and pushing up.
motivation of being your own person,
Absolutely.
right? Because in your eyes, working for somebody else doesn't allow you to be your own person.
It's true.
Right?
That's exactly how I feel.
Okay, that's why you went from Douglas Elliman and corporate
Mentality.
space
Yep.
to the non-corporate mentality of
It's more of a
Realty
family and homey. It's
Right.
That's what you want. You know, your office is a reflection of how you're going to work. If you have a great boss, usually the employees work a little better.
Mhm.
If you have a horrible boss and gives you just, you're not going to look forward to going into work.
Come down and talk at some of the seminars today. I mean, this guy's got it. He understands it. He
Let him share
definitely
some of the time.
understands what's
Yeah.
going on. You know, I mean, time is flying here. You got to give us your number one more time.
Sure, it's 631-671-0509. And that's my personal cell phone. Feel free to call or text my cell phone
So there's
anytime.
no problem. 2:00 in the morning. It's okay.
2 a.m. is fine.
I'm gonna start texting him when I wake
As
up.
long as I'm up.
I'm gonna call them now. Just for the hell of
I called him on
it.
purpose and said, "Hey."
Hey man,
So-
what's up?
So, anybody got any questions for Matt? Call in now. We only got like 5 minutes left before we got to
Something
get
like
off the
that,
air.
yeah.
It's like
Do
crazy.
you have any special events coming up? Anything where you're going to? Do you do any? You go to libraries or you go to?
So I do reach out to local municipalities. It is tough to get into there. I've reached out to a couple of local libraries for 2019, but they haven't got back
for
to
what
me.
reason?
Just to get my name out there and
Okay.
just to educate people. Because
You
No,
go
what
to
do you do
wedding
on
expos?
on a personal level?
No, you got people.
This is
They're
like
young people do buy homes.
I've done the American
Very
Consumer, the home show in April of last year. I did, and I picked up a couple of leads out of there. So I'm actually converted them. We're looking to list a couple of homes from April of 2018 this spring.
But
So-
some
so
people
Matt,
do
tell
buy
us-
homes right off the bat.
Tell us,
They do.
Matt.
Yes.
What do you do other than real estate? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
You have
So-
a life.
So
That's what he
outside
said,
of
Because
my
it sounds like right now it's all you live, eat, breathe, real estate, and that's all you
So-
do. You have no interest outside.
Well, besides real estate, I like to always educate myself about real estate,
Right.
about finances.
No,
But
no,
besides
no.
that-
what do you do?
Fun.
What do
Are
you
you
do?
All right,
married?
so
Well,
for
that's not
fun.
Do you go jet skiing? Do you go snow skiing? Do you?
So I like to vacation about 4 times a year.
Okay.
If I'm not cruising, I like to do at least 1 to 2 cruises a year. If I'm not doing that, then I
Well,
usually
we have
fly
a
down
travel
to
agent
Florida.
for you. He
Oh,
was
Ken.
on.
Ken was watching tonight.
Is he watching?
Ken,
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Why
Nice
don't
to see you.
Call in and get a phone number, buddy.
Vacationing at least 4 times a year, it's a must. We always have to recharge. I don't care what business you're in, 9 to 5 or self-help or a self-employed person. Besides vacationing, I have a drone myself and I like to fly around. If I'm not flying my
Do you have your
drone,
drone license?
I don't, but I have my pilot license.
Well, you got.
He's supposed to say yes because you never know who's listening. They're gonna come after
No,
you.
no. He
Uh-oh.
said only
I have a
if
few
if
buddies
he's
in the
only flying
FAA,
his
so-
drone for commercial purposes.
You don't
then
know
you
what
have to
he's
have the
doing.
license.
He has a drone.
He just said he's drawing. He's
All
flying
right,
it.
whatever,
I asked him what he
okay.
would like to do on a recreational side, not
it's
business
true,
side.
see?
But you can get
all
your
about
drone
wording.
license. All you got to do is go
Apply
online.
online, right?
Go online and take the 107 test,
Yes.
which the majority of the test is stuff that you already know
Standard.
anyway.
Exactly.
And then you need your BFR, and then go down to you can't go to the FSDO anymore. You just BFR and then send it in. They'll send you a drone license.
Okay. It
That's
works
it.
for me.
That's all you got to do, man.
And if I'm not flying, then I usually like to fly with a couple of buddies of mine
Okay.
once in a while. It's
All
fun.
right, so
Have to keep my sanity in between
Well,
transactions.
and that's my point is, the way you're presenting yourself is you're live, eat, and breathe. Real, not everybody is 24/7 with their
Right.
businesses,
No.
regardless.
We
of
do
what
have
they
a life outside of real estate.
say. Well, and that's the thing.
Well, that's what he was getting at.
And that's really what I wanted to know. So
Yeah.
you're doing some drone flying and all of that fun stuff.
Yes.
So, and you're cruising.
And cruise.
So you
Love
like
to
cruises.
cruise. I just came off a cruise 3 weeks ago. I want to
Cruising
go
is the
back.
Where did you go?
I went out of Puerto Rico, and where did we go to? St. Martin, St. Kitts, Barbados, and I believe St. Thomas.
Did you book it through Cruise Planners?
I didn't. I had a book before I even met.
Cruise planners is the way to
Cruise
go.
Planners is the way to
In
go.
fact,
That's
I'm
our friend
sitting-
Ken.
I'm sitting down with Ken and we're putting together
Are we doing the boom cruise?
a private cruise.
Nice.
July of 20th.
Okay.
2020. Yeah.
2020.
Okay.
If
I'm
still
game for
alive.
it.
We gotta let you know about it.
I love cruises,
It'll be
so-
my first time on a boat.
Really?
Wonderful.
I said boat too many
Ship.
times last week. It
Yeah.
was ship.
Ship.
Ship, yes.
That's why I said that, Ken. I said it as a joke, Ken. I know it's a ship.
Cruises are awesome.
Cruises are awesome.
You can't. It's a one-stop shop.
And you get to meet a lot of people, and you get to
Make a lot of friends. It's same thing, networking.
Right.
You know,
You
there
never
are real
know.
estate sales cruises and instructional type cruises also.
Really?
They give lectures and you'll learn a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what's out there.
Do you ever get into the relocation market?
No, not usually. A lot of people that I work with, they already know where they want to
Is
go.
that the witness protection program?
Sort of.
But I haven't really worked on relocating other people. They usually have a place that they want to go to. That's the reason
But they
why
need
they're
to
selling.
sell.
But that's the
So
reason
if
why
they
they're
don't-
selling.
If they don't have that person or the person's not selling the house,
Right.
it's good for you to get involved with that. So
Absolutely.
we're going to make referrals to you. All
Yes.
right, and I'm not talking about someone who wants to buy or sell.
Right.
We're talking about people that can help you. You want to meet mortgage brokers and
Yes.
bankers, and you want to meet real estate attorneys,
Yep.
commercial and residential. You still want to see both.
Of course.
You're not going to turn down a commercial. Someone says to you, I need a warehouse space, with 10,000 square feet.
One where and I'll do it.
Exactly.
Yes.
We have a phone call?
No, we don't have a phone call? We got 2 minutes left.
Oh,
We got 2 minutes left.
giving us the
So he's wrapping us up.
the Rheingold beer sign or
The
something.
Rheingold. He doesn't even know what Rheingold is.
Okay.
So Pat's right. So Matt,
Schaefer?
thanks. We want to thank you for being on the show.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
did a
We
great
had a
job.
great time.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
One more time, give out your number.
Sure. It's 631-671-0509.
Okay.
And don't forget, hashtag Sully Sells, L-I. You can
Hashtag
find me on all my
yeah,
social
hold that
media.
up there, brother.
There we go.
You'll see that everywhere on my social media platforms and under every house rider that I have, that's attached to
So
it.
you see, wherever you see Sully Sells, Long Island,
That's me.
that's Matt
And
Sullivan.
if you don't see it on this side, you can see it on that side.
There you go. All right.
Well, real estate.
Well, Matt, thanks for being on the show.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
So
Thank
what
you.
do you got coming up this week?
Nothing this week. I mean, we're
Nothing?
getting
Quiet?
We just took another date for October 26th. We're going to be in Islip. I'm undecided who I'm going to put on the show yet, but I reserved the venue. And Donna's summer show is coming up in 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
And
right?
that's going to be a killer.
You gotta see that, Matt.
And then we're going to have the Temptations and Gladys Knight and the Pips
Oh, nice.
at Kennequot for our friend
Kennequot.
Steve. Kennequot.
Nicola.
And that's a fundraiser for the Ronkonkoma Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And that's what we got doing.
Awesome.
Got a big meeting tomorrow night with leukemia. Someone called me and asked me if I could put something together for leukemia. One of their relatives passed away a year or two, and they
I'm sorry to
They
hear
want
that.
to do something now.
We have a lot of good causes. Just remember, the fourth Wednesday of every month, we have a favorite charity on.
Yeah, and if you would
All
like
right.
to be on, get in touch with Darren at.
It's not Darren at. It's DCIO.
No, I was getting Darren. It's in phone number.
Oh, Darren at 631-721-4347.
And if you would like to call the Music Man, it's 631-698-9696. You give us a call.
And I don't have anything going on, but thanks for asking.
You
I
always have
appreciate
things
that.
going on, man.
I always, but this is going to be a quiet week because you know what?
You
We're
just
gearing
joined.
up-
You just
we're
joined
gearing
a
up.
new organization that
I
you
just
kicking
joined
it.
a new organization. I got a lot of things going on as far as work goes, but fun stuff. Oh, Civil Air Patrol meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, it's always fun. And I may be flying on Sunday, weather permitting.
Good.
So I'm a happy camper when it
All
comes
right,
to
stay
that.
That's
safe,
fun.
all right?
I will.
Okay,
I always
and
do.
this way I
I
want to
always
see
do,
you
my
next
friend.
week.
All right. So tune in next week, guys. Who do we got next week?
If you have to do your taxes
Nope.
and you need some information, no, it's not that.
No, it's not
Oh,
that.
it's the baseball player.
It's the baseball guy, right?
We have a former Major League Baseball player that's going to be here next week, but I'm not going to mention who.
That's
I'll give
it.
you a hint. His name starts with a V. That's all you
Yeah,
get.
that's all you get. Hey, next week's going to be a great show, too, just like tonight was. So we look forward to seeing everybody tune in next week. So everybody have a great week, have a safe week, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m.
God bless. Have a great week,
All right.
everyone.
Today's
Good night,
show was
everybody.
brought to you by Friend Entertainment USA, producing the best concerts for charities and corporations for over 30 years. CBMS Consulting Services, turning vision into value. And CBMS Bookkeeping Services, control your business before it controls you. in association with Village Connection Network, your full-service marketing and media company. If you're interested in being a guest on our show, visit our website at www.bphdmm.com for more information.
Where I stand. Man has already won. Oh, my mind clear. Lord, I shed all my tears.